What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. We have a bunch of good stuff to get into today. First, though, I want to say we are getting close to 130,000 subs. We're actually coming up on it pretty quick now, actually, and that means the NES Classic will be given away, and then we'll move on to something else for a giveaway and everything to get you guys something cool. We're going to be shooting for that, hopefully by the end of the month. That's our goal, to get to 130,000 subs before the end of the month. So if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. We have a lot of fun, do a lot of gaming news and gameplay videos and everything. It's a good time. First, though, let's get in some of the quick news before we get in some of the bigger stuff, because there is some kind of funny stuff we could talk about when it comes to Nintendo Switch modding and hacking, as I know a lot of you guys don't like talking about it, but this is kind of funny, and it's kind of ironic, and I guess some people are even saying karma for it. First, let's get into some of the quick news. We're going to start with Sonic Mania, as Sega put out a tweet that you're seeing here that says, with a 90 Metascore on Nintendo Switch, Sonic Mania Plus is now the highest rated Sonic game in 25 years. Tons of scores there that you see, with things like 9.5 out of 10 from DualShockers, 9 out of 10 from Nintendo Life, 10 out of 10. It's pretty cool to see this, because Sonic Mania was an interesting project for Sega, considering that they pulled in fans, essentially, who were doing fan projects and stuff for the Sonic series. They were just kind of building them on the free time, and they loved the classics. And yes, the one game that these fans helped Sega work on ends up being their highest rated Sonic game in 25 years. Go figure, right? Now, here is my real question. What would be their next challenge? What would be their next game they would work on? Would they do another 2D standard Sonic game like this? Or, this is an interesting question, and I want to see what you guys think about this. Could this be the team that could actually make a good 3D Sonic game? I know some of you are saying, oh, there's some good things. I mean, an actual good, like a highly rated, critically acclaimed, like the Sonic Mania, a 3D Sonic game. Or do you think they're mostly a 2D Sonic game team? Let me know if you'd like to see them try to tackle that, or so they just stay pretty much all 2D at this point and just continue on maybe with a bigger budget and work on, I don't know, Sonic Mania 2 or whatever they'd call it. Also, we had two more, I guess kind of three more, two more SKUs essentially, two more games going to Xbox One backwards compatible charts. You'll see the tweet here from Major Nelson himself. Both Silent Hill HD Collection and then Silent Hill Homecoming is now backwards compatible on the Xbox One. And I know what you're thinking right away. The HD collection is obscenely broken. People complain about it a lot. It didn't work well when it came out. They had a patch, then they canceled it. They did patch the PS3 version, but either one is still pretty bad. Frame rates, visuals, bugginess overall. It's just a bad collection, which still blows my mind, considering that should be like a slam dunk to release as a collection and get it right and get a bunch of sales from it, but they seem to mess it up completely. I don't know, but I was really curious if people try it out. I haven't tried it out at all yet. If people do try it out, to see if it runs any better on the Xbox One, because they had to do some kind of compatibility patch to get it running on the Xbox One, and a lot of times when we see games go to it, they run better. You know, we saw Knights of the Republic hit like 60 frames or something on the Xbox One X and even the Xbox One S. So, yeah, I'm going to be curious if people try it out. We see like Digital Foundry and stuff do a lot of those tests. Maybe they'll check it out, but if you've got a chance to play it, let us know down in the comments if this is still a buggy mess or if they actually have semi-fixed it for the Xbox One. Oh, and check this out. The Commodore 64 Mini that released over in Europe earlier this year is coming west to North American audiences and everything. You've probably seen it somewhat kind of out there online and everything. They did a full trailer for it here. It's actually coming October 9th, and this does come with 64 titles, whether you know them or not, from Commodore 64. They have a few like California games, Speedball 1 and 2, Impossible Mission, 1 and 2, Fire Lord. It is an HDMI compatible system with one joystick and everything, and it's more so for the people who like the classic consoles, whether you collect like the NES Classic, Super Nintendo Classic. This is definitely geared more towards a smaller audience who are really into the Commodore 64 games or the setup and everything. And it's a cool little system. I mean, it looks like a little Commodore 64 with the keyboard and everything. I don't know, it's kind of neat. It's coming over here October 9th, so you can look into picking it up if you're looking at this setup as something you would actually be interested in. With some of the quick news out of the way, guys, let's get into some of the bigger stuff. We're going to start right away with the Nintendo Switch hacking scene that's been going on. If you have been completely out of the loop, the Switch has been hacked like crazy. You can load up your own software. People have loaded up a backup loader, so now you can load retail games and play them without actually owning a retail game that you're playing. So you can download Zelda online, for example, load it up on your Switch, have it hacked, and play it without purchasing the game. That's obviously an issue, and it doesn't help that Team Xecuter has released their own product that seems to make it very easy to do, where you load up an OS that they call SXOS, and there's some controversy even around that OS, that it appears that they pulled their code from freely available code online that has been made available or designed by other people. It's a whole thing right now where they're using like apparently open source code and stuff, or code that's freely online. It's a whole thing because Team Xecuter is selling this, so they are profiting from essentially hacking the system and selling it to people who want to pirate games and play it on their system. So the SXOS is kind of geared towards, because as backup loader and everything, letting people pirate games. But the interesting thing about this whole situation is there are people out there who don't want to pay Team Xecuter for essentially software that lets them pirate games. So they want to pirate the software that lets them pirate the games, right? So I don't know if that makes them like pirates to the nth degree or something. I don't know, because they're pirating pirates then. So what's interesting about this, and it seems to have people calling karma and even laughing about it online, they downloaded the software that they believe to be the SXOS that was then opened up for them to use, because Team Xecuter even built something into it to brick your system if you try to hack the thing with their unsigned code that is not sold to you. So people thought they were downloading the correct stuff when in fact they seemed to be downloading a payload that then messed up their NAND and completely bricked their system. And they were thinking about sending it to Nintendo, but can you really do that? So there was a full description on GBA Temp, which is a place that myself and several other people visit to keep up on the hacking scene and everything around it, and this was how it was described. Okay, so not many people are aware of what this payload actually does. It does not replace your entire NAND with garbage. That will be a huge waste of time. It just overwrites your GPT and part of your prod info. Due to the fact that your prod info is console specific, there is no way to recover without a NAND backup. They go on to say that if you have not backed up your NAND, it's over. Your Switch is pretty much done for. You can try to send it to Nintendo, but what do you think they're going to tell you? You hacked and modded the system. You're going to have to go buy another one. And it's just another thing we talk about. A lot of people have this vision of how great hacking your Switch is and everything, but there are times where this happens, where, yeah, sometimes maybe it's not worth hacking that $300 system that you purchased because it can brick it. That's why I always see those disclaimers on things. Not our fault if you brick it after trying this. And yeah, this is just an instance of it going completely wrong, and people who are trying to pirated software that enables piracy. Well, I guess some people are saying, you know, they got what was coming to them for karma and everything. Hey, you live and learn, I guess. If that happens, maybe think twice about hacking your system, because it could just get bricked because you decided not to buy the piracy software. You decided to try to pirate that software. Next up, let's talk about some new GameCube controllers that are going to be entering the market later on this year. As far as we could tell, it's only in Japan currently, but I could definitely see these coming west in all parts of the world pretty much. These are being done by Hori, and you can see some of them here. They have a few of them, including a Mario one, a Pokemon Pikachu looking one, and then a Zelda one. Out of the three, I really like the way the Zelda one looks. These are essentially GameCube controllers, as you can see here, but they do run to USB, so you don't need to then buy the adapter for your Switch or your Wii U in that case, as they've made Wii U classic controllers. In fact, these look very, very similar to those, just with some differences in the molding. Very, very minimal differences, by the way. But they appear to be getting these ready for the Switch, and these will be sold later on this year. It appears to be October. It'll be sold in Japan for just under 3,000 yen. That comes out to a little over $26, which is actually not a bad price. But I would like to see a Wavebird be redesigned. I think that would be really cool. Like, if Nintendo could get on that, make an official Wavebird controller for the Switch, I would actually pay decent money for that. Considering the Pro Controller now is, that's $70. I would pay about that for a good Wavebird controller, especially if it had the analog triggers that would fix the issue we have currently with the Switch's Pro Controller being digital triggers, right? That wouldn't really work with GameCube stuff if they decide to put GameCube games on the Switch. But man, a Wavebird controller official from Nintendo would be awesome. They're already making, of course, those official GameCube controllers that they put out, that they did with the Wii U as well, that worked with that adapter and everything. But if they could, man, if they get on a wireless one, I know, competitive players don't like wireless controllers, but I'm not looking to play competitively with this stuff. I just like the convenience of having a wireless controller. So Nintendo, if you're listening, get on that Wavebird, because I think a lot of people would buy it. Next up, let's talk about NBA Playgrounds 2. Do you remember this game that was supposed to come out like at the end of May? I think it was like May 22nd it was supposed to come out. And they delayed it like a week before it was supposed to come out. Out of nowhere. It was one of the most confusing things I've ever seen, right? It was just random and weird. Although, to be fair, with Saber Interactive, we've kind of been used to that with what happened with Playgrounds 1, which was kind of a disaster when it came out on the Switch, even other systems, with the online multiplayer being like missing at one point. They ended up patching that in, but it took so long they had to give away Shaq Fu, which was a weird game on its own. And here we are now with a randomly disappearing NBA Playgrounds 2. At least it was until recently. See, yesterday, they announced kind of why they had to delay it. That's because they're partnering with 2K. That's right, 2K is going to be publishing this game, and we're going to talk about the implications there and why people are freaking out right now about this. It's pretty clear-cut. You're probably already thinking about it, and yes, that is microtransactions. So the game now, here's the logo for it, by the way, is pretty much called NBA 2K Playgrounds 2. Yes, so 2K is right there, front and center. They are very notorious about their microtransactions in their NBA 2K series. You're paying for haircuts and all this stuff. Seriously, it's a grind to do that. And if you played the first NBA Playgrounds, you probably remember how you would actually earn currency in the game and then use that to buy packs, which would then give you new players. I mean, that's like the easiest thing to incorporate microtransactions into. So my theory right now, I have reached out for a statement from them. We'll see if they get back to me. But my theory right now is 2K came along, realized this is very easy to do this, right? To come in, put microtransactions in, and you can make so much more money from it. And I feel like Saber Interactive realized that, and they partnered. Here's 2K publishing it, which I assume means there will be physical copies of this game as well. And we'll see. We'll see. If they announce microtransactions, you'll know 2K was probably a part of that and really put the backing in to publish it. But we'll keep an eye out for it. As far as we know now, it's coming out this fall. So look for that. I'll be curious to see how they place it around NBA 2K19. See if they put it out a month before or a month after or something. Although, to be fair, this is more like NBA Jam and probably wouldn't really directly compete that much anyway, as people are buying into the 2K series that we've all known for a while. It's probably looking for simulation basketball anyway. People buying into this probably want NBA Jam. Finally, in our last bit of news, let's talk about No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky seeking redemption, right? I mean, this has been an ongoing thing since 2016 when it originally released and got hammered by reviewers, by players. It was a disaster, right? And ever since then, they've been trying to work up to this new update, No Man's Sky Next. It released on the Xbox, big patch for the PC, big patch for the PS4, and people took to it like crazy yesterday. And honestly, I think Hello Games is pretty happy with what's going on. See, I was a little surprised about a couple things. One, some of the people I've talked to that have played it, I haven't had a chance to play it yet with everything that's been going on, like it. It's apparently night and day compared to how it released. And if you look at Steam, you're going to see that, yeah, it must be, because Steam, originally when this game came out, was like the battleground. Seriously, it was being review bombed like crazy. But if you look at the recent reviews, it's been heavily positive over being negative. Seriously, people appear to really like the changes and the updates here. And then you see the Steam charts for sales, and this game jumped to the top. Sure, there was a discount for it, probably helped, but the fact that people are now very interested in this game and seem to be giving good praise to it. People like Dreamcast Guy reviewed it, gave it a better score. And the one issue that he and others seem to have is that it crashes like crazy on the PlayStation 4, like constantly. Some people haven't even been able to play it on the PS4 because it keeps crashing. I don't think the PC version is crashing as much. The Xbox version apparently is doing the same. So they can't seem to get it right across the board completely. However, multiplayer is now there, base building is massive, and they've done a ton of updates. Apparently, over 200 fixes. So, I guess if you have No Man's Sky and you've been thinking about popping it back in, it might be the time to do it. And hey, Hello Games, they stuck with it. I'll give them credit. After all the backlash, all the pushback, they stuck with it, and they finally delivered the game that they probably should have delivered back in 2016. But to be fair, they stuck with it, they didn't give up on it, and they appear to have at least delivered a pretty good game for No Man's Sky next. Then guys, that's where I'm going to leave Newswave today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments below about everything we talked about. No Man's Sky finally finding redemption. Do you think they stuck with it and it did great for them? Do you like next? Or maybe you don't like it and it's just not, you're not feeling it. Also, let me know what you think about the Switch pirates getting bricked from trying to pirate software. Let me know about all that and more, guys, below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time.